Hey everyone, I'm rather Incoherent, this is Rome Total War Remastered, and this is beginning to look like the end of the Germania campaign. As it stands, we only have 5 more regions that we need, and we're already sieging at least one of them. We're on our way to at least 5 of them though. So, let's try to figure out how to play this turn and end this game as quickly as possible. Here is one of the many cities we will be conquering. Oh hey, look at that, a full stack of Numidians! I'm going to very pointedly move my unit to here and start the siege from here. And the reason I'm doing this is to make sure that full stack can't reach me. You look at its movement range, it actually stopped right here and couldn't get to the attack right here. So, this is making sure I take this city. Moving down here. If I just hire somebody like this Balearic Slinger to carry the ram, and then send my cavalry ahead to start the siege. Oh, there's only cavalry, so the movement speed isn't changing, is it? But we can make a ram for that Slinger to carry. This is another city taken and next turn. So we're now down to 2 cities we need to take. We're 3. This is a turn away. This is 2 turns away. Campus Scythe is going down now, and it's probably going down to an auto-resolve, let's be real. Like, I don't see any reason I should waste my time fighting this myself. And at 366, I'll begrudgingly take it. And we will be exterminating this. Looking at what's left here, in terms of army, I think my worst unit is probably a depleted unit of Peltast. Let's see if we can't get by leaving that behind. I am sad to see that my wounds were apparently mostly in my Bastarnae. Now, they're initially quite mad, I will admit. This temple is probably worth keeping. Yep, 20% happiness, can't do better myself. But, at low tax rate, they're almost completely okay. And of course, we can just make a peasant. We probably could peasant trick this to guarantee it's fine, but I can't imagine the peasant on its own isn't enough. So let's head south and break this siege. And now we're just going to continue south towards the next city. Again, that's several turns away. Don't really want to waste my time with that. I will be making a chosen archer here and have these units leave next turn to rejoin this. Oh, that's another siege we've already finished this turn? What's going on? Who do I have selected right now? Oh, the army is not here to carry the rams. Yes. Now I can assault. Again, gonna quick save. Shouldn't ever need to fight this. Just look at the balance of power. Somehow lost 400 men. All of it in my noble cav. So sadly, I'll be playing this fight myself. Oh hey, this is one of my armies with chosen axemen. Isn't that cool? I'm just trying to imagine losing 400 men in this siege, and I really cannot do it. So I'm just going to do the same thing I've been doing, really. I'm running spearmen in either direction and forming a phalanx so that I just have the city. And Macedon doesn't seem particularly interested in stopping me from doing this, which is good, because I'm not particularly interested in forming a phalanx quickly, it seems. So, I want to quickly show off something, though. I haven't done this yet. If you compare my phalanxes to theirs, I have 2 more morale, 4 more melee attack, 4 more alternate attack, which I think is my knife, 3 more defense, and 3 more charge. These are both tier 1 barracks hoplites. And your army has such a massive percentage of it made up of your lowest tier units that it is unreal how much better Macedon is at spamming how much better Germania is at spamming low tier phalanxes than any of the Hellenistic factions. My militia hoplites are trash, and these spear warbands, because early barbarian units are overpowered, are the best early game phalanxes in the game. If I actually compare them to the real phalanx, which is this, I'm going to lose in a straight fight because they have longer spears, but if we just compare the stats, which is what would matter versus other non-phalanx units, you can see I still have better morale, and better attack, and better defense than the Levy pikemen. And more men. Oh no, we have the same number of men. I thought they had 160 in a pikeman for some reason. I'm just stupid. Oh, it's militia hoplites. Militia hoplites also have 33% less men than the Spear Warband. It's just insane how much better early game units for phalanxes are for Germany than any of the Hellenistic factions. It's actually fucking nonsense. Anyway, we're going to just absolutely rip apart this first unit of phalanx. I'm surprised he hasn't left yet. There we go. So for the time being, I'm just going to see if I can't bait a phalanx out into this corridor and get it sandwiched by heavy cavalry, because that seems like the fastest way to deal with some of this. Look, get their attention, man. This works, I just have to make it happen. Well, they decided that they weren't going to listen to my commands, charged into the town square, and then routed themselves. So at this point, due to frustration, I'll be using my phalanxes instead. Their spear warband is marching sideways into mine. Good job, phalanx. It's nice to see it happening to the AI. Anyway, the reason I'm doing this is so that I can now create a situation where I can actually charge my spearmen in. Or my cavalry, rather. Did I kill their general? What was that even a cutscene of? Yeah. Oh, hey guys, please don't do that. Please actually walk past them. So, if this works, yes. I can now have these guys fire at will, which will pull every... Why did my phalanxes go forward? Guys. Anyway, let's see if these chosen axemen seem like they're any good. I mean, they're flanking a phalanx. This should be a slaughter, right? And honestly, like, we won, but wouldn't any other unit have done the same thing? Well, whatever, we won. And our wounds weren't exclusively taken onto heavy cavalry this time, so the army still functions. Losing spearmen doesn't matter, losing heavy cav cripples the army. So, we will occupy our city, now that we have it back. Going to leave behind 2 depleted units of spearmen, everyone else can go. And I can't actually retrain them here, but I can retrain one of them, I guess. And this army is going to head north, I guess, to deal with these 2 team stacks. Aye, Captain. Because it turns out I don't need to send him south to Apollina. I have plenty of other units capable of doing exactly that. Aye, aye, Captain. General. Going to gather all of these units around in northern Italy, put them on the boats, and start heading south. Rome will send its chosen archers to the coast now, as will Capua send its cavalry, and Tarentum will send its cavalry. And it looks like we're going to have time and speed to recruit 2 more units of heavy cav at least, although I don't think this army actually makes it to the fight before the game is over. We're going to try. Going to continue recruiting units as though this ever happens in these towns. We're going to get all of these people on the boats so that they can head off to greener pastures. Yes, General. Ready to sail. Aye, aye, Captain. Guess we'll be recruiting a new boat here since we have nothing else we can do with our time. Sailing these boats down to provide support. Same with these. Oh, these should just be retrained immediately, honestly. Looking around, Spain gave up its siege, so things are a lot less dicey than they were a second ago. And I think that's all of our fronts handled. We have 2 sieges happening down here next turn. I think we're sieging Ireland as well. Not quite sure if we have the movement for that. We're sieging this city in 2 turns with help from that. Oh, we have to move these units. Shit. Yeah, let's not forget this. Assault here. And again, this should be auto-resolve. 300 wounds is sort of unacceptable. Was it all on the cavalry? It was. Okay, so a trick I need to start doing, because I'm realizing it now based on how these fights are going. When you auto-resolve battles, the units in the front take the wounds. So I need to put my heavy cavalry in the back if I want to auto-resolve things. Because the position that this army is in, these cavalry are relatively easy to retrain, but I don't have a boat to take them is the problem. What I'm going to do is simply hope that they're able to find a different target sooner rather than later, and send them after Larissa despite their wounds. Because I'm going to send this down and try to attack Thurman. Which I can if I send the cavalry ahead, and I will. So, we're going to maintain that siege. These units will catch up next turn. And this army will leave behind its useless fucking axemen. I feel really bad about how irrelevant axemen have felt this game. So, I think that's all of my wars handled now. Which feels very brief and far faster than it should have been. Oh, I have to keep walking towards Carthage. Because I'm at war with Carthage. Of course I am. Oh, wait. My own movements are being auto-sped up, and that's very alarming and I hate it. I'm guessing that when I toggled movement speed in the in turn phase, where I right-click to speed up everything, that's speeding up my own units during my turn too. I hate it. I don't like it at all. I don't know why it's happening. Alright, I think that's actually it for this turn. There's nothing else to do. So. Oh no, Macedon's laying siege again. Whatever will I do? Spoilers, I think the answer is probably just end the game before the siege can even play out. But, like, probably just kill them with one of my million other stacks, right? Like, I've got more armies coming, it's fine. Thrace's strategy of just sending single units in every direction to try to wear me down is quite funny. Well, first, let's look at what's going on. Carthage and Spain made a ceasefire with their dying breaths. That's quite funny. Now adopt whoever this is. He is now probably in Irinium, right? Ariminum, rather. Well, I closed out the message, but yeah, he's right here. Greece is one of the few people in the whole world that I'm not at war with. Despite that, they're still massively in the way. They're not that in the way, since it turns out I have a second boat in the area. So we have just assembled a full stack of, like, frankly ridiculous quality out of nowhere over, like, 4 turns. It's kind of absurd. Probably should have read my faction announcements, but the game is kind of over, so I'm getting a bit ahead of myself, I guess. Like, is the game actually over this turn? Like, is it already just do your sieges and win? Oh god, it is. Yeah. Well, this is gonna be a short video. I thought it would go on a lot longer than this. But, alright, so, I'm gonna save this and demonstrate it. I can tell you now, whatever wounds we take, they're all coming out of this cavalry because they're in the front. Well, those 12 are coming out of this cavalry. We lost 5, 6 of them from that cavalry that was in the front. Exterminate Corinth. We finally got the statue of Zeus. That'll help us with our happiness across the empire. And sadly, we really don't need to do much else, but I'm going to play it like I did. Because I would normally condense these units' wounds down, leave behind the injured one, walk out of the town and siege Athens, build a single battering ram and a load of saps. Fuck the ram entirely, just build saps at stone walls. Oh. Well, someone here can sap. I'm guessing it's these mercenaries. And now I could retrain and recruit. Oh, I couldn't retrain, because it probably got damaged when I auto-resolved. I can build a happiness building. I can train some chosen archers. I can lower the taxes. And I can peasant trick. And oh, look at that. Corinth is going to be just fine. But yeah, it doesn't matter if Corinth is fine or not, because the game's over. What an anticlimactic end. I thought it would take so much more time to conquer the next couple of cities, but we've really just exploded across the map after finishing up Italy, didn't we? This has been outrageously fast. I don't want to fight this. I hate ending campaigns on auto-resolve, but, like, there's no reason I'd ever fight this manually, to be honest. And that's it. Germany wins. Quite easily. Yeah, I thought I'd be more than 20 minutes into this video. I was worried I'd be, like, recording for an hour and a half to make sure I ended the campaign. And I've got a lot more sieges coming. I could probably end this video with a solid 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can have like 7 more settlements by the end of this video relatively easily, I think. It is outrageous how much military I have going right now. So let's take a look at some graphs, I suppose, since the campaign is over. And I have no interest in playing for World Conquest, I just want to see how things have gone. So, let's look at all factions. In terms of overall, this is me rising up out of the pack in the early game. This is around the point when I start holding northern Italy. This is as I'm winning my war with the Romans. And this is once the war's actually done, and I have exterminated enough cities that I can afford to just start building military. Because I guarantee you, my overall ranking is drastically affected by land and military. And I guess to a lesser degree, population. Because if you have high land, you have high population. Yeah, and military, it's basically the same graph as my overall ranking. It's very funny. And production, I'm at the top, but I've never really even understood what production is. In territory, it's just ridiculous how fast we've been expanding. In the early game, it was a little bit slow, as we were taking a lot of rebel settlements and fighting tooth and nail to defend ourselves while taking Italy. But as soon as we secured our borders, it's just been non-stop and only getting faster since then. Financially, it's just a train wreck. Apparently the Julii had a whole lot of money when they were dying. That's quite funny. What was Gaul's income? I don't even see Gaul. Wait, no. Turn off everyone but Gaul. I can't even see a specific point in this chart where I'd be like, oh, this is where they bribed Mediolanum 3 times. Whenever they were bribing Mediolanum, it didn't even cost enough money to meaningfully move them on the chart. That's very upsetting. And in terms of population, Egypt is actually at the top, but I'm finally catching up to them. Quickly looking at my economy a little bit, I'm making a fucking disgusting profit of 21,000 a turn, apparently. That's probably not accurate. Let's look at that correctly. My net turn income is 21,000. No, that's correct. Is it really? I have 44,000. Are you really telling me that I'm going... Okay, I'm not making 21,000 a turn, but I am making 12,000 a turn. Which is very, very high. The problem with what was happening last turn is I was exterminating cities, and that's getting shown here. So it was misleading tremendously. But still, 12,000 a turn isn't bad. My ability to produce units is outrageous, and what's the best part of it is it's really focused in these cities, which are actually my border right now. Whereas with Rome, the cities that were best at production were usually quite far away from the fronts they would need to be sending them to. On the whole, this faction has been dramatically easier than I expected it to be. And the endpoint I find myself in is dramatically stronger than I thought it would be as well. I suppose I'll stop talking for now. I'm sorry for the short video, but it turns out there was a lot less campaign left than I thought there was. We'll get into actual analysis in the post-mortem. One thing I do want to mention, though, is if I go look at my commanders, the amount of stars they have is outrageous. 4, 4, 2, 8, 1, 2, 1, 4, 6, 2, 7, 4, 7, 6, 4. I have so many, like, mildly competent generals and a lot of actually very good ones. And I have a lot of retinues that are... I have no idea where my faction leader is these days. I assume he's one of these armies. Here's my faction heir, at least. I have so many followers that are like, where is he? Gallopers somewhere. That's just +1 attack, or +1 command when attacking. I've also got a lot of traits like plus command when you're commanding infantry, or cavalry, or mercenaries. A lot of these generals that look like they're just okay to good are actually good to great. And I don't know what it is about the way Germany has played that resulted in me getting so many more powerful generals, but it's very obvious that I have. So, this has been the end of Germania. Kind of sad. I thought there'd be a big war with Macedon, and like, there just isn't. I'll fight one field battle versus them just to show how thoroughly not a war it is. Like, this isn't one of my good armies. This army has less phalanxes than any other army I'm fielding, and is instead invested in axemen for some insane reason. I just wanted to test them out. And every time I've tried to use them, they've just been, like, rather generic units. So what I'm going to do is put half my cavalry on either wing, because I have so much of it, figure out where they are, and advance on them. Looks like they want to fight at this orientation. That's fine by me, I guess. Oh, do you want to actually attack immediately? You shouldn't want that, trust me. It's a bad decision. Want to break phalanx here, rotate a bit, have these units move up to the side. Since they're moving like they want to charge over here, I'll fight them for it. But yeah, they can't actually fight me cavalry to cavalry. Just not a thing they're able to do. Yeah, and you can see that on the other side, their cavalry is not really up to this. We've broken this cavalry immediately. It never stood a chance, because my cavalry is just vastly superior to theirs. Now, all of this just start moving forward, and I'll use the alt command instead. Have my axemen start moving forward. Have these guys just get out of the way of this one phalanx. I say get out of the way of the one phalanx. Fuck that, let's sandwich the one phalanx. He can't deal with this many units of heavy cavalry. He's out of position. These aren't going to be hard fights. If anything, they're going to be fights that are hard to lose. So that phalanx is getting run down now. These cavalry can swing out wider. All of this can keep marching forward. This can run forward and start throwing javelins. You guys can line up for another charge. The axemen can run forward. They're basically just bad cavalry, let's be real. That's what all infantry that aren't phalanxes are. gonna move all of this back to start charging the flanks soon. It's like, yeah, they have a lot of cavalry like I do, but it's all light cavalry. It's all trash. Have all of their remaining cavalry get charged. Pull this back. Pull all this back.
The enemy warlord shows his
Like,
worth. Nothing.
I have such insane cavalry superiority that there's no risk here whatsoever. It's outrageous how fucked they are. At this point, I think I need people running down routing phalanxes more than I need to be worrying about anything to do with, like, fighting their army. This is just the point where you need to be eliminating them. It's very sad, like, how incredibly outclassed Macedon is. Oh, they appear to be charging this man. Well, he's not going to get away with it. Oh, apparently the stuff rallied at some point. That'll be fine. Like, I'm not even needing to pay a lot of attention or try particularly hard in this.
The enemy warlord shows his worth. Nothing. Any of our warriors would die rather than run.
Like, it's brutal. It's just absolutely brutal. Oh, is that one of my units that broke? Good job, assholes. You're an embarrassment to Germany. But yeah, that's the fight. Everything's done. I don't know who it thinks is left, but yeah.
No longer a battle. This is a horde of warriors.
So we lose 600, they lose 2,000, and that's not, like, a good army of mine. I have no good ranged units in this. I have axemen instead of phalanxes. All of my other well-constructed armies would have done better than this one. It is insane how outclassed Macedon is. It's not like I won the campaign and just hit victory before I had to fight the first big war against Macedon. The war against Macedon's already over. Like, let me just open up the graph and compare directly myself against Macedon. This is the moment Macedon went to war with me. I continued rising and they immediately sharply declined. It's been a stomp. Anyway, that's it for now. I've been rather incoherent. This has been Germania. If you liked the video, or in fact the series, then please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. And I'll see you in the next one.